In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to draw the arms, this way, that way, up, down, every way. And it is so simple when you follow these steps. So if you are one of those people that always have trouble drawing the shoulders with the arms up, the arms back, I'm going to show you how to do that too. So let's get to the drawing table. But first, if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing if you like it. My name is Brian Proctor, aka the art teacher, where I teach you how to draw. I seriously teach you how to draw, okay? I'm not showing you some pretty pictures that I do. I'm teaching you how to draw pretty pictures. All right, let's get to the drawing table and get started. All right, welcome to the drawing table, and at the drawing table we draw. So if you are new here, if this is your first time, then welcome. My name is Brian Proctor, aka the art teacher. Now, when I started out to draw, I had nobody. There were no art classes, none of that. I learned myself, and because of me having to learn in a different way from the way they teach you now, I made it as easy for myself as possible. So I'm taking what I learned or what I taught myself, and I'm teaching you guys how to draw, and just to show you that drawing is simple, really simple. All right, so today we are going to do the arms along with the shoulders, because you cannot do arms and not do shoulders along with it. All right, so in the last video I showed you how to do the torso. Torso is the most important part because everything is stuck to the torso. Your arms, your head, your waist, everything's stuck to the torso. And if you're drawing comics or characters, then doing a medium shot, you're usually going to do torso up, and you want your readers to see your character, how powerful they are, so forth and so on. So yes, and I'm about comic books, because once you learn to draw, especially figures, then what else are you going to do with them but, draw them in a nice action position, a fighting position, and eventually you want to put a story to that, and then eventually either make a comic strip or a comic book. So this is what this channel is about. All right, so let's get drawing. All right, so last time I did the torso, and I use shapes. I try to beat it into people's heads to use shapes, because shapes, we always use shapes. I might change pencils because I want this to be dark enough for you guys to see. We use shapes every day when we do our letters. I'm forgetting what our letters are. We use shapes. We use circles, we use squares, and we use triangles. Okay, so the only thing about drawing is you take these three shapes and you learn to twist them. You learn to manipulate them. You learn to twist them. Where's my little square here? You got the square here. I'm not trying to advertise. You have the square here, so you have to just learn to draw it from different angles, and that's all it is to it. So torso is an oval, and of course connected to the torso you're going to have your collarbone. Okay, whenever you draw the torso, always do a center line. That way you'll know where the body's turning, whether it's going to be turning that way, whether it's going to be turning that way. And then the collarbone is going to determine how much lean that person has. So if he's leaning down, that collarbone is going to turn into like that letter, like the letter V, or it's a triangle again. Shapes, everything is one of these three shapes. If you take the time to master these three shapes and draw it from all angles, then you'll be drawing the next day. I promise you, money back guarantee. All right, so if you're leaning down, the more down you lean, the more this is going to be in the shape of a triangle. If you're standing straight up, it's going to be pretty much straight across like that. Now the collarbone actually is shaped like a bicycle handlebars. It's like this, like that. But we're not going to really focus on drawing it like that when we're drawing our characters, because when you draw your characters, we're not focused on that one little thing. But I'm just showing you right now what it's like. And you have the bone, the arm bone is actually under that, and then your delt, the muscle for your delt, is connected along this, because behind this, if I draw a top view, if I can remember, here's your looking down, here's the hole for your neck, here's your collarbone right here, and then you have your shoulder blades, and it comes here, and it's kind of connected, but your delts connect. Let me use my pen since I have it. Your delts right here are connected to that, to your collarbone, and it goes right into your shoulder blade. So just remember that. Just remember that. It's going to come in handy. All right, let's erase this. And let's get on with the lesson. So for just drawing purposes, because a lot of times you will put clothes on the character, so you don't have to be exact. We're just going to go straight line just like that. But remember, everything is underneath of this line, kind of like whatever of justice, the thing of justice, and the scales, I think it's the scales of justice, like that. Everything is underneath of that line. Okay, so what was it doing? Okay, going back to shapes. When you first start drawing, you don't want to start drawing the muscles. You want to draw. What was I going to erase? I was going to erase something to save room, trying to save paper, because paper is expensive. You want to draw more of the, I can't think of the word, the figure, like the wooden dummy figure. And I'm going to buy one. I had one, but I left it. I used to teach at an art school, and then they weren't doing right, so I left, and I left my dummy there. And I had a big wooden hand. So, as I said, when you first learn, you want to start with your basic shapes. And doing the arm are three shapes. The square will turn into a rectangle. Can turn into a rectangle when you're doing these shapes, when you're manipulating shapes. And the rectangle can turn into a cylinder, which is just the rectangle tilted so you can see the opening of it. That's all it is. So this is what the arm is. This is the circle, cylinder, or oval, which is the same thing. It's a rectangle with two little bumps on it like that. Same thing. And it's a triangle, lengthened. The triangle will become a cone, just like an ice cream cone, like that. Or party hat if I turn it upside down. Ice cream cone, cone. Now I use these examples because when I say draw bicep, you might say to yourself, oh, I can't, that's too hard. But when we first learn to draw, a couple of the things that we learn to draw is the happy face, the stick figure, and a house. Those are usually the first things that we learn to draw when we're young. So a house is just a triangle, square or rectangle, circle. These could be triangles if you put them together. And then just this half circle or the letter U. Either it's a shape or it's a letter or number, but they're all shapes. Once you get that in your head and it stays, you're like, hey, he's right. I can draw. I didn't know that all this time. So, all right. So we have this circle, and this circle is going to represent your delts, which remember are underneath that. Don't put it over it. Underneath that, you're going to put either your oval or your cylinder. For the time being, let's put a cylinder, which is, if you don't see the opening, then you can call it a rectangle. And then after that, there is going to be the triangle or the cone. Triangle is going to be equal. I think it's equal on all sides, if I'm not mistaken. That's a triangle. You know, where the cone is just long and it has the opening. So that's all it is for drawing an arm connected to your collarbone. Now, once you do something like, let me get a couple figures, which I should have had already, because I'm going to use them for my opening shot. Let me get the big guy. And if you're new to the channel, I call him the big guy because he's a big guy. So, and everybody like, wow, that's where did you get that from? I've never seen that. It's Amazon. If I can remember, I'll leave a link to it. But I think it's $80 some, and it's worth it. It's really worth it. So anyway, what was I going to say? I'm going to have to pause it and think about exactly what I was going to say. Is this, if you are going to draw it, okay, I got it. A lot of people will want to start drawing and draw the muscles. They're just, oh, I got to draw the big bicep and this and all of that. And that's where you mess up, because you don't have the form together yet. You're not that good. If you're just starting now, you don't have the form ready yet, or you're drawing out of proportion, one part of the arm is too long, so you want to use as simple a shape as possible. So the simplest shape to use are these three shapes: a circle, rectangle, cone. So if you want to put the arm out or across, it's the same thing. Let's just put it out for now. Here and here. And how did I change my pencil? Because the other pencil was running out, the layer was running out. So you have the arm already, and it's basically shaped. You have that arm shape by using those three shapes already, because the delt is going to be round like that, except it's going to get cut off like that, almost like half a circle. This arm is going to come up into here, which is basically this shape is rounded off. That's why I said you can use the oval or you can use the cylinder. And the forearm is fatter here than it is here. So just by drawing this triangle, you've got it. And then what we're going to do is cut it off wherever you want to put your hand. But you just have to have this and this basically the same length. And you put your hand right here. So the same thing here: circle, rectangle or cylinder, and triangle. Now if you want to cross over, which you will if you're drawing anything action, let's use this guy here. You're still using the same shapes, but you are doing in perspective. So let's just say, let's draw another one. Try to keep it dark. You have your torso, and you have the collarbone. And of course, like I say, if the collarbone is straight across, then the person is looking right at you. Let me give you an example with the big guy. And what I did was I took a marker and I started marking out the muscles. And I use this in certain lessons. I used them before. So you see how this collarbone looks like it goes straight across when he is leaning right at you. These shoulders are down. The one thing about this, and it's hard to do, there's a metal skeleton underneath this thing, and like that, you see, sometimes the skeleton gets kind of twisted around, but you can, twist it back. And these shoulders are drooping. These shoulders, it's hard. It's supposed to go up like this. Shoulders are supposed to be like up, but there's a certain way to do it, and I can never figure it out. It's like the longer it sits, the more it doesn't want to cooperate. But anyway, these are straight across. Now, if I tilted him like he's looking down, or you looking down at him, you see how it takes on the V. So the more the person bends over, the more you're going to see that V in his collarbone, and then you'll see some traps, and we'll get into that later. All right, just remember that. So if you're bending this person down, if he's about to charge, if he's picking up $1 off the ground, you're going to have a V. Not too far down, but you're just going to have that V. So again, I want to do my center line. And this is, oh, okay, I was going to do the crossover. All right, so you're going to have your delts are always going to be here. That's a given. No matter how you draw, your delts are going to be right underneath that collarbone, which is also called something I can't remember. So knowing how to do this is why I have these things right here. I have these examples right here. I have a cone in here, but let's use this because it's more coney. All right, so put these over here. Nope, I need this. I need this purple one. So flat like this is a rectangle. I use all these things to teach you guys how to draw. Flat like this is a rectangle. When you tilt it up and you see this inside of it, it becomes a cylinder. And when you put something in, when you turn the cylinder, it gets shorter. It just gets shorter, okay? And it gets shorter and it goes into perspective. Well, there's another word I'm looking for. So if I do this cylinder like this, and then I turn it like this to where you see an opening, this is not going to remain flat like this. It's going to go in a little bit more. Foreshortening. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think. So you can exaggerate the foreshortening, especially when you do a close-up. I don't know why my brain is not wanting to say what I want to say because I'm 3 sentences ahead and my mouth is behind. We'll get into that later. So whenever you turn this, you're going to get that. You're going to that's exaggerated, but I wanted you to see exactly what it's going to look like with exaggerations. So same thing. If I took one here and I took it straight, and I took another one and I turned it and connected it, because that's all drawing is taking shapes, and you start to stack shapes on top of each other. You manipulate them, you turn them, you twist them, you bend them, you cut some of it off. You start to like sculpt it, cut pieces of it off, and put them together and turn them and twist them and bend them, as I already said, and then you have a drawing. So if I look down on this, or if I looked at this at an angle, it would be the circle. Circle is always going to be a circle. The cone is going to be like this, coming from the center. And then the square, or whatever that shape is going to be like that, with this little cut off piece, like that. So that's all drawing is. It's just taking these shapes and manipulating them. But you have to know what they look like when you twist them and turn them. It's just, if I drew a car, it's the same thing. I know what a car looks like from the side. So if I wanted to put that car in action, I have to be able to draw it at an angle where it shows the most action if this was a car. So again, you have to study this. All right, so if I'm going to take this, let's say I'm going to do an arm, and I'm going to put the arm across the body. All right, so I'm going to take that cylinder here, and remember, this circle is going to stay. This circle is not part of the cylinder, so I'm going to draw this cylinder here, and I'm going to leave some opening because it is turned. And then if I'm going to put the other arm, the forearm here, I'm going to put it right here, across just like that. Remember, same length, and then cut it off where you want to put the hand. If I want to put this other one up, the same thing. So what this is, what you're doing, what I did right here, let me show you. And I'm trying to keep this one short, but it's going to end up being a longer one. What I did right here is I put this right on top of this ball here, and it's going to be like this. Here's a ball. Here is my arm. This is my tricep, bicep, and it's going to roll around this ball. Just think about that when you draw. You know, because a ball is a ball, no matter how I move this ball, it's going to stay around. Yeah, so basically you just want to do like this, and then however you get that set on the tricep or the delt, then you want to put your bicep, tricep, and then you want to end up with your forearm. Some people will draw a little circle here because they do that with the joint. I'll flip this over, and it'll be the same thing. It rolls with the joint, but you tend to make the arm look a little too long if you put a ball here and then another ball here on the other end. So I don't do the ball. You can, if you have started and you're used to doing it like that, you can do that. I just don't do that because I just connect them later. I connect them later. All right, so we have this, and then we're going to put this here, this there. Here's my fist. I'm going to do a hand video later. I'm working on a handbook. So if I'm going to do another one, and this one's going to come across, I'm going to put it on the ball. Here's the ball here. I'm going to put that cone, or that cylinder. Yeah, cylinder on the ball here. And I'm going to put my cone. Forgive me if I start losing the names of the shapes. And then I'll chop it off right here. And here's my other hand. And if I want to be all creative, here's my head. He could be blocking something. I don't know. He could be creating a shield or something. And the fact I like comic books is because you can just think crazy things and make them happen, and people won't question it because it's a comic book. How can Superman fly? What gives Superman his thrust? How can he go from 0 to light speed? You know what I'm saying? Nobody questions that because they just say, oh, that's because he's Superman. But, you know, that's impossible. So that's why I like comics, because you can do whatever, anything in comics. So here's my delt. Here's my bicep, tricep. Here is this arm, or this part of the arm. And here is the hand doing whatever the hand is doing. So now that you have those three shapes, what you need to do is just practice. Draw a bunch of torsos or ovals. They don't have to naturally be torsos. Draw a bunch of these. Collarbone, collarbone. Even if you want to drop the collarbone a little bit, you can. But remember the neck. I'll show you with the big guy. Let's just say there's a hole for the neck. I'll do the whole neck. Okay, just make it easier for you guys. We have this. We have your center line. Let's just put the center line over here. And since I did the V, center line is going to be there. At this point, you're going to do the letter V. And it's going to go right up to the top of this circle here. So you don't want to have this line too far down, and you don't want to have it on top, because this is where your shoulders are going to go. Okay, this is not the greatest shape, but it's a rough shape. So the V is going to go here, and then you're going to go up, just like that. Two lines up. This is your neck. This is the point of your neck, and of course your head is going to go right there. Now, your point of your neck, see, which is right here, goes right between the collarbones and right down at the center of the base of your chest. Your chest is going to go right here. This is where your point of your neck. So if you're bending the character down, the base of your neck is going to go right here. It depends on how far he's bending down. It may not go all the way up to this round point. It may just go here, and then you connect your head. Because the more you bend down, the more your character bends down. And he has a face. I just have it somewhere. My desk is a mess. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. This, like I said, I think this is like $80 or $89 or something like that. It's not really, really expensive. But it comes like this. It doesn't come with a head. It comes with, I think, 3 sets of hands and 2 private parts. I don't know why they give you the private parts. And it also comes with, I think, some yellow shorts and some wristbands so that you don't see the seam, and bands around for the angle so you just don't see the the open parts. Yeah, but it does not come with a head. You have to buy a head separately. So the head comes with this little piece, because underneath this is just this metal ball, and you snap this piece onto the metal ball. It's hard to get off, so I'm not going to try to take it off. And then the head just fits on top of this, like so. Now this is a skin. Say it, Brian. Say it. The color of the skin is tan. I think it's called tan or suntan, but they have lighter skins. They have yet to come up with a black figure that I know of. So you can either get a brownish tan like this, and this one's dirty. I'm sorry, this is really dirty. And or you can get more of a fleshy tone, like maybe, I think it's lighter than his face. The face is not dirty, but the body's dirty because I use it a lot. So anyway, as I say, when you go forward, like this, let me see if I can show you. When the person bends forward, you see how his shoulders come up and go behind his head? That's my pencil. The shoulder's going to come up and go behind his head. So the more you bend over, let's make him look up. If I can do that. The more you bend your character, the more the shoulders are going to come up behind the head. All right? So it's going to be like this. And of course, your collar, your delts are going to come right off the collarbone. So what I do is I just straight and then like that. Almost kind of like drawing the letter P. That is a P, okay. Or the opposite way, which would be a Q. So just like that. And then your arms are oval. Let's just do the oval for now, because it's just quicker to do the oval, but you're still connecting it here. It's the same thing as if I'm like doing like this. The only reason I do this is so that I know which way the arm is coming up. If I do this and I do this, well, you can't. Okay. What are you doing, Brian? Too many lines and too much glare. If I'm doing this, then it means it's the opening. I can see the opening from the other side. So you can't do that unless it was going back or being covered up. This delt would cover this hole up, and then this thing would be going backwards like this. Because if this was a cylinder, you'd be seeing the opening of this part, and you wouldn't be seeing the opening at that part. If I twist it up, you would see the opening of this and not the opening of that. But you see how this is connected right here? If you look at this as a circle, it's kind of hard doing it while I'm looking at my monitor. If you see this as a circle, And then this sticks on it like this. Don't go away. This is a circle, and this sticks on it like this. That's what you have, and you're just raising that cylinder up. Okay, so we won't get into that anymore, and then we're sticking the cone on top of that. So you have this cylinder, this circle, this cylinder, and this cone right here. Chop it off where you want to put the hands. So if I'm going to lean this up, where's my pencil? So I'm going to do this. He's going forward. This is coming forward, so I'm going to see this opening. But as I say, I'm going to do an oval. And then I'm going to do my cone. And my cone is going to tilt up like this. It's going to get shorter. It's the same thing as this, except you have a smaller opening and it comes together. So it's going to be like this. I'll bring this out a little bit. I don't want to cover it. It's going to be like this. Chop it off here, or just cut it off here, and then do your fist right there. Same thing. If I do this, bring it in, round this off, chop this off here, put my fist right here. And it's really, really simple. Once you get the basics of drawing the shape, then you already have the shape of the arm itself. It's just how much more bigger do you want it, or how much more muscle do you want to put in it. So if I do this, I already got the shape. Because this is an oval like this, I've already got this coming in. I've got this coming out. You have this. But what I'm going to open this up a little bit more. You come down, and there's a muscle that kind of cuts across here, because this, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, this has two bones. Let me give you more camera. This has two bones. This is one single bone in the bicep. This has two bones, and when you twist it, the bones cross, and it gives you that. You know what? My muscles are gone. Wait, that little indentation. There's a line that goes right across here, because that's your bone turning. Your bones are here and here, so when you turn it, it's going to come across. So this is what this little piece represents. So then I have my hand. Come on, Brian, draw a hand, dude. That's the wonky hand. And the same thing here, because you already have the shapes. You got this, you have this, because your bottom line is going to go right up into the chest. So like I said, your bottom line is going to come, and it's going to go down, and it's going to be the bottom of your chest. Then you're going to have this, which is already that oval. You can split that, and here is your bicep, and below that is your tricep, yes. And then again here. And it's not very far off from the shapes that you are going to end up with. So let's go do these other ones. So this, because I have this as a curve, this is going to still go under here, but because you turned it around, instead of it being off the body, let me show you with this one. Instead of this circle being off the body, because you turned it around, it's going to now go into the body, depending on how much you turn it around. And this one is going to be hidden behind the chest, which is going to be right here. Okay, remember, the chest is going to come up and it curves around, and that's your delt. Same thing for here. That's going to be your delt. So let's put an arm on here real quick. So I'm just going to do my oval, and just put a cone right here. I'm just going to just throw some shapes up there. So I'm going to put one here, and then one up here. So we've got this, we've got this, and we've got this. We've got this circle, which is behind the chest. We've got this oval. And then how did I have the other one? Like this. Now remember, chop it off. Put the hand wherever. But when you chop it off, you still want to have enough distance between this and this, or actual equal spaces between that and that. And if you didn't take shop, if you didn't know measuring, you won't know what I just did with doing this. Just trust me on that. Trust me on that. All right, so this one. Now, one of the things, I had one of your fellow art students write in and ask, could I show about the shoulders? And I'm going to show you about the shoulders right here, because this is self-explanatory, but just do a bunch of them, bunch of these, and then just put your arms wherever. So now with the shoulder, if you raise your arms up, and this is the only bad thing about these figures, is that they don't really, I'm saying, they don't represent the shoulders well at all. It goes up because you have your traps. And when you lift your arms up, your delts come in front of your traps. Your chest comes in front of your traps. Your traps, I used to think that they scrunched up because this arm was pushing it over, but it actually goes in front of it like this. It goes in front like that. That's the way they're made. So your traps are behind it. Let's see if this guy represents this any better. Come on, stop sliding away. So it's kind of like this. You're going to have, your traps are going to remain. These are your traps here. I don't have my marker, or I would mark it for you. It's just this shape here. And when you go to the front, remember the bottom of your chest goes into that delt. Your delts go across like this. I don't have my marker, but where's this one? Let's see if I can use this one. Go across your chest like this. He's drawing on his man. That's why I bought it. And your traps, your delts are made of 3 muscle groups. This first one, you have this middle one right here. And I know you can't see. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it on camera. And you have this one back here. So that's how your delts are made. These 3 groups, and they're like this on top. They're like this, like a U. And then you have your muscles here, here, and here. And then your traps go here, or your shoulders, or this part right here. So this is like a U, and it actually goes behind your back. Your traps are like this. More of a, depending on if you're bending down. If you're straight up, it's just going to be another triangle. But you don't want to follow this circle right here. The circle that I have here, you tend to make your shoulders a little wider. So I'm going to do this. This is a guy. This is his head. This is his neck. So you see how small that is? So I will lift these up above that. Just a little above that to give him more broader shoulders. And if I wanted him to be more muscular, I would round it. I'd round it off. And then just bring that delt up a little higher. So, but when you lift up your arms, let's take another one. When you lift up your arms, instead of use 2, I'm hoping this is a very light pencil, so hoping you can see that center line, and these are your shoulder blades. No, not shoulder blades. You know what it is. When you lift it up, it's going to go like this, and your traps are actually going to be behind that. So remember, the top is going to be the top of the delt. Let's say if you did a circle, the circle is always going to be under that line, top of your delt. Your arm is going to be here. So it's kind of going under. That delt is going around it, but the same way, where did I put it? Put it like right here. Your arm is going basically kind of under it. So you think about that. And the bottom part is going to go to your chest. So that's pulling your chest, which pushes your back. If I do a side view, your traps they go up your neck like this. And this is going to be your delt. This is your bicep and your tricep and your forearm. So this is going to be your traps right here. It's going to go down your back. There's my little marker. So it's going to go up the neck, which is actually what you call your shoulder. It's going to be around this because remember, this is 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, and it goes around your back. And then it's going to be like this, and then your traps go down here. So this is your traps here. So the back of it, and if I'm drawing the back, I'm going to draw more of a triangle. And this is my shoulders, which is another triangle. And then here's going to be my head. So your delts are going to be like this and around, like that, at kind of an angle. And so your traps are going to ride these lines coming down to a triangle like that. And it's going to go up your neck. So when you put your arms up, they're going to go in front of your traps. You're still going to get this circle, and then your arms are here and there. So you're going to put your arm up. This is really not going to move too much, but you're going to get this, which goes in front of it. So you have that circle part right here. And then you get your bicep, tricep, and your forearm. And then you get a little more lat activation here. Spine. And then you have your, here, what is that thing called? Your shoulder blade here. But that's when we get into the back. This is 35 minutes. So I'm going to speed this up and wrap it up. So let's continue with the pen since it's quicker. So if you lift one arm up, it's going to go up. The circle here. The other one, they will not go down. They don't go down. They will not. Your shoulder blades will not go down. Not shoulder blades. Your collarbone will not go down, and your arms will only go backwards. If I'm doing, where's that person who's drawing his? This is his head. This is his collarbone. This is his back. So this is his delt right here. Your arms will only go back so far. Not. Will it go back there? So far, yeah, they'll go back so far, but they won't go back touching, because a lot of comic books will over exaggerate stuff, and then it won't go. It doesn't go back that far. So this is your traps right here, comes into those delts, and it goes down your back, and then here's that cone. So if I bring it back like this, and I'm doing that cone, here's my fist. Pen doesn't want to really write. Here is my back. He's really down, so I'm going to put the eyes like this. And you'll see the chest. The chin is going to cover that chest. Let me show you the big guy. The chin is going to cover that chest. Just his nose. Look at his nose. There's the line in his chest. It's going to cover that. You're going to see a little bit of back. How do I have him? I have him like this. I have him like this. That skeleton, that metal skeleton. Have him like this. So this is what you're seeing. Pretty much his head is down a little bit because he's under the attack mode. You're seeing something like this. It's hard to get this in the camera. Okay, so if the leg came down, one leg came down, it'd be like this. The other leg would be straight. And you've seen that position so many times. And then if you want to put some of the foot here, you can. If I want to put just some of the thigh there, and the other foot here, depending on what that person's doing. So, and if you look, I just use shapes, oval or cylinder, cone. Let's say this whole thing is just an oval. This is an oval here. You just didn't see it come all the way up. This is pretty much an oval. Same thing with this, and this is just half a circle. And of course, the head is an oval. So it's just get that first. Get those shapes first. Then you want to come back. You want to study your muscles, how your muscles look when they turn as well. Because, yeah, you want your muscles to be right. When you draw, your fancy, smancy superhero guy. And then you can dress them. Because a lot of times, if you dress a character, it doesn't make a difference about all this extra, striations and small tiny muscles, because I'm going to put a cape on this person, or I'm going to put a shirt on this person, and you will never you'll never see that. But as long as you have the shape right, then people will know, oh, that's a muscular character. So if I put a shirt on this guy like this, you can still see he's muscular because it's a tight shirt, and because I have the muscle, the shape of the muscles right, then they're like, okay, that's he must be a superhero or a lifter or whatever, and put a couple wrinkles in the shirt, not wrinkles, but pulls in the shirt, and then you have that. So don't always stress the muscle. If you know you have a character that has this cool uniform or has armor or whatever on, don't stress, I've got to get the veins in the bicep right, and I've got to do this. And when you're going to cover it up, you're going to cover it up with armor. Don't worry about it. Now, if you're doing a Aquaman type person who doesn't have shirt, he just has the little shorts on, swimming shorts, then yeah, you want to do that. But other than that, get the shape right. Get the shape right. So okay, so I covered that. I covered the arms going up. I covered the arms going back. The arms are just, as I say, just cylinder. Oh, let's do this real quick. If you want to do like foreshortening, like the guy's going to be turned like this way, and his hand is going to be way out here, and the hand is going to be big. Put the thumb right here, and you want that foreshortening. Thank you, Brian. Foreshortening. What you have to practice is seeing this close to you, seeing it close, and how it goes back. Practice drawings like this. How far do you want to go back? And then the other part of the arm goes back here, and it's on the bicep, not bicep, the delt. The delts. Yeah, the more I try to talk about this stuff, the harder it gets. Now, the only reason this is going to be big if it's shifted close to you. See, if I can't do this. If I put my arm out like this, it's going to be just regular arm size. But when I bring it into you, the more, let's see if I can get it under here, the more I bring it into that camera, the larger this part is going to be. And in the narrower, that's a hard word for me to say, like synthesizer. I don't know why I can't say those words. That's how, because it's turned up. If I keep it out like this, it's not going to do anything like this. But when I bring it into the camera or focus, it's going to get bigger. So it cannot be out like this. It has to be in. It has to be in more. Okay, here we go. We have this, and the more it's turned, remember, the more it's turned, the shorter it's going to get, which means the less of the side you're going to see and have to draw. So I'm going to do something, it's going to be like this, and the other part is going to be like this. And then it's going to go the delt, trap. See, I get that way. And then I'll put my hand here, whatever. This guy's, he's got a, he's holding a gun. Where's the thumb going to be? I think the thumb's going to be on the inside. Yeah, thumb's going to be on the inside. And then the gun is going to be the same way. And you got the hand here. You got the finger. He's holding that gun. And you have to turn the gun right as well. And that's how you would do more foreshortening. Yes, Brian, foreshortening. Remembering the secret is it has to be turned in more. You can't have it. The other one. This is your bicep, tricep, and your other one. Let's just use the cone. No, let's use this because it'll show better. Have that, you know, the more it turns, the bigger the front of it's going to be. So it cannot be big going out. It has to be big when it comes in. The more it comes in, the bigger the front is going to be. So that's the secret to that. And it was hard for me to do because I always had problems with that. And another thing is when you draw an arm and extend it, and here is the bicep, tricep, your elbow is always going to point down. So you're going to have connection like, let's see if I can do this one. I don't have much room. So usually I'll draw the hand first. If I'm going to draw a foreshortened kind of a thing, I'll draw the hand first. And then, of course, that comes off the hand. But what I'm saying here is using blue. Here's my delt. Let's do my delt. My delt here. So using blue, I'm going to come down. So the elbow is going to be pointing down. So you're going to have that like this. It's going to be kind of like this, unless that hand is just straight in front of you. Here's my torso. Here is the fist. Here's the gun, and your delt is a given. So remember, it's coming off of there. It's a given. So even at that, I can't do that. Even at that, you're going to see some of this, but it's going to go down. Not too much. So if this is the hand right here, this is going to come at a downward angle, and the bicep itself is going to be behind that, and you see some delt. So just remember, nothing is just, you can't see my arm. Nothing is going to be just straight like that. You're going to see part of this. You're going to see, because it's so fat, you're going to see this. The bicep might be hidden, but you will see the delt, yeah. And the elbow, since your elbow is down, when you rotate the character, that elbow is down again. So when you connect those two, just give it, you really don't see too many straight arms when you're drawing stuff, unless they're flying. But a lot of times they still have just a little bit of bend in them. But just remember, the elbow is going to be pointed down. So if you draw those two shapes, and this is where I start to get messy. If you draw those two shapes like this, and that might be a little bit too much bend, you see there's just a little bit of a V right here. Your elbow's pointing down. Here's my shoulder. Here's my other thing. So it's going to do this, and this. And this is going to be long, but that's okay. I'll put this here. My collarbone. This is the chest. This is my hand right here. This is the other hand right here. So let's just say he's flying or he's swimming. It's weird because I space him out too much. But the point is, you give a little, even when they're flying, there is always a little bit of a bend in that shape of that arm. All right, so if I didn't cover it, I will cover it, and whatever I miss, I'll cover it in the next video, which we should be going to the hips. You see how this is? This is like, this ain't right. And I don't use this. I don't play with this thing, but just somehow, sometimes, this is only after a while. I think I had like 3 years now, maybe 4 years now. And this started to tear. I didn't tear it. I didn't, like I say, it just on its own. And I think somewhere else it started. But this is pretty good for 3 years, but I'm not handling it. And as I say, I'll put it up today and then I'll come back. And then tomorrow, the joint will be bending the wrong way. It's kind of like he gets up on his own at night and runs around and breaks something and just deals with it until I get back. But these shoulders go up, and it's weird because once they go down, they just kind of stay down. Before I go, I'm going to see if I can get it up. There it is. You see how their shoulder's up like this and this shoulder's down? And it's just weird. You have to twist it the right way because this guy's got really good broad shoulders. And I think they imaged the body from Schwarzenegger. There you go. But you see my arm is twisted. When he was young, it's like a young Schwarzenegger body. So there's my shoulders. And sometimes they drop down. But anyway, that's going to be it for this 47 minutes with a little editing and my opening, beginning. So yeah, that's going to be it for you guys. Remember, practice. Draw a bunch of ovals. Where they go? Draw a bunch of ovals and then shift the arms into position. Even if you get a comic book or something, I don't have one nearby. I just thought about this. And then just see how the arms are going in the comic book. Draw the oval. Don't put any detail in it. Draw your collarbone and then draw your arms in these cylinder shapes the same way you see them in the comic books. Let me grab this real quick. This is what I'm saying. Okay, so this is an old clown sticker, Samurai Clown. This is my flagship comic book. But just draw the oval, center line, and then just draw a cylinder and a cone the way the arms are shaped, and then you'll get kind of the hang of it. So yeah, that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, I'm out. Keep drawing.